Welcome, everybody, to a very special episode of the Dr. Music Podcast, where I have with me today Per Sundstro of Sabaton. Sabaton, over the years, has amassed more than 2 billion, that's billion with a B, streams, and 1.5 billion YouTube views, which is just crazy. Per is the original bassist and band manager for the band, and some of you might know him as the radio operator for the Tank in the World of Tanks game. Back in March of this year, the band released their 10th studio album called The War to End All Wars, and Sabaton is preparing for a headlining tour of North America and Australia by year's end, and a European tour is set to take place in April and May of next year. Busy guy you are, Per. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I forgot about the additional 20 shows we added to our already 30-show tour in Sweden. So, but yeah, we stayed busy, and I think we got a little bit to catch up on. Having had 2 years without shows, basically, we have a whole world waiting for us now. So, yes. I guess it's time to get busy with this part. I mean, we were busy in the pandemics, in the lockdowns and stuff as well. So we did a lot of stuff during this time. We definitely not wasted that time, and I think that in many ways, I think it played out pretty well for Sabaton the way it played out in the end. So I'm quite happy with that. So and where we stand at the moment.
Excellent. Yeah, you got a lot done in that pandemic downtime. The seclusion really helped with the production of things, and not that you were ever lacking in that department. You guys are always busy. As the manager of the band, aside from 25 full-time employees, this is some things people don't realize. And tons of other responsibility. You oversee a 100-person road crew and 10 semi-trucks when you tour Europe. That is just enormous. That's an enormous undertaking to get that out there. How much of that production will you have on this North American leg?
Yeah, it's not 10 tracks. Definitely not. It's a bit smaller to accommodate the venues, but we promise everybody that we have brought enough that we can fill every venue to the brick, And so we bring a couple of tracks here, and a good portion of crew members. Awesome. But it's not when we do the European tour. There is still growth to be expected in America. We still are a few years left behind from where we are in Europe, but we are ticking. Not slowly, it's going quite rapidly in America, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see this tour, even in weird times like this. We are doing very well on this tour that we're starting tomorrow in Seattle with a sold-out show.
Yeah.
Our biggest show today in Seattle, so can't complain.
That is just awesome. And America is welcoming you with open arms. And, I see tunes like 40 to 1 is huge in Poland. Amazing response in Serbia with Last Dying Breath, and Smoking Snakes in Brazil. You have all of these places where there's just an enormous response. Do you find that the American audience is the most difficult to engage like that?
No, it's not. I think that the American audience is generally excited about most of the stuff that we do. Mm-hmm. I mean, we do have stuff that is connecting to the American history as well, and but I think Americans are very generally open and welcoming all the world's history. So I do think it works pretty well. I mean, what I could say is more difficult is, for example, Sweden, who hasn't been, it's been a very let's say disconnected country, thankfully, from a lot of battles and wars in the past 300 years, being neutral and staying out of conflicts and things like that. So it's when you talk to people in Sweden, they have a longer distance to the topics of our songs, for example,
right.
And which makes that they so let me go for the musical part of the band. Americans, they tend to go for it's a split. I mean, they love part of the Americans love the music and part love the history. But of course, Sabaton is gathering a good crowd now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. And you offer all of that. The history is tremendous. The Sabaton History Channel, just a beautiful, beautiful thing that you do. Have you ever thought of producing a full-length film like that with Sabaton Music? All of those episodes, 20 minutes at a time, and they're so well done. Did you ever think about, another thing, you've overseen the construction of your own TV studio that you filmed that in, which is also a tremendous undertaking. Have you ever thought about a full-length film?
Yes.
Nice.
We have thought about it, and we got some cool things coming in the future. Let's see if we can do something like that. I mean, there's always something going on.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, in 2019, you played Wacken for the 20th anniversary. Huge show, both stages, one on each side, just crazy. You had former members of Sabaton there. Now, those former members have a band similar to Sabaton in Civil War. What are your thoughts about them? I mean, you're great friends, childhood friends, and it was just so great to see you guys together doing that. All of the past members of Sabaton and current members. What do you think about the Civil War band, and would you ever consider having them open a Sabaton show?
I think they are great, and I think that the current version of Civil War is the best one ever, now that Tobbe joined it. And I think that, if they would open for us, they've been playing with Sabaton plenty of times. Awesome. They have been on the Sabaton Open Air Festival a few times, they've been on the Sabaton Cruise, and they played with us a few times here and there. So definitely we are not accustomed to having them around.
That's awesome. I love to see that camaraderie among former band members, and it's all peaceful and it's wonderful. Any desire to do a soundtrack or a film score?
Not really.
Okay.
A lot of people think and always tell us that you already created a lot of the film scores and soundtracks to movies and stuff like that. And unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. When we talk to the movie producers and things like that, they never want a metal song. So it doesn't suit into, you can't fit it into a movie. So we are happy that all our fans, they do their own version of the movie soundtrack, and they edit footage of the films with our songs, and doing something like unofficial music videos that fans are creating. And I always tell when I see that there's a new movie that's been created about some of the subjects that we've written a song about, I reach out, because I still hope that sometime we'll be involved in one way or another. And I say, right, if we don't do anything, you and me, then somebody else will take the initiative and do it. Right. And we lost, both of us have lost a fantastic opportunity, but they never listen. So it's unfortunately that most of the producers and music producers, they have no interest in the marketing of the movie. Wow. And they have no interest. So it's different, always different, let's say, part of the team creating a movie. So whoever is making the score and is in charge of the music of the movie, doesn't care that we can do a good story together with a rock band who's got millions of fans. And for that person, it's not interesting. That person works from a pure egoistic part. Like, don't come here and mess up my score, my soundtrack.
Right.
So, and if a producer would come in and force some poor music producer of a movie to collaborate with a heavy metal band, then that person will probably quit their job, and so it doesn't really work. It sounds great, and we are still so we'd be more than happy with the fans doing the unofficial music videos, and sometimes they do get shitloads of views, and definitely more than the official trailers of the movies sometimes and stuff like that. So I'm quite happy to prove them that I was right, but I get your your world doesn't work like I want it to work.
Right, yeah, and some of that stuff is great. And even Sabaton History Channel, with the music backing up those battle scenes and the animations, there's just it's just great. And speaking of films, your videos are nothing short of spectacular. As Indy suggested, I have to ask you how the Camels were selected for the 7 Pillars of Wisdom video.
Wow, that's a great, it's a quite funny story. That one day the local producer in the Sahara Desert is calling me and he said, I just had a very weird casting session. I was just forced to decide which camels are beautiful, and I had no idea what is beautiful on a camel or not. And I was standing there with these farmers who come to show up their camels, and it's like, I don't know who's a nice, beautiful camel. And I can't really say because I think it's the too foul language, but he was holding a quite entertaining speech about how he saw the camels, and when people were discussing and showcasing, like, my camel is more beautiful than yours. Like, how do you know?
I love it. It's great. Now you guys are a history band. That's what you sing about. And I know you state like bands like Twisted Sister, Guns N' Roses, Skid Row. These are influences. And the way I see Sabaton, it seems more of the Iron Maiden vein or the Dream Theater type of thing. How much does that play into it? And do you ever see Sabaton moving away from the history side of things? Any songs about fast cars coming up?
I don't see that happen.
Good.
We haven't been given any reason why we should do that so far. So I don't have anything better to write about, to be honest. And as we often say to this, why make up history? And, reality beats fiction. So we rather stay in the real world and tell real stories than make up our own. So I'm quite comfortable with saying that Sabaton will be staying where we are. I mean, we're going to jump in times and ages and worlds and these kind of things, but we'll be staying in something that is real.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's wonderful to hear, I gotta tell you. Now, it's you and Joachim are pretty much the brains behind the operation, if you will. The writers and especially, lyrically too. What about the other guys? Are they into the history like you are? Tommy and everybody, are they, do they want to write about chicks and beer, or are they've got to love what you're doing? Are they into the history like you are?
Not as much as we are, definitely not.
Okay.
So that leaves out us to do the research and dig in deep and focus on that part, and everybody can focus on the musical part instead.
Yeah. It's great. It's such a unique sound that you get with the history mixed with the metal. It's just I love it to death. It's very unique. How much does Joachim really hate playing Swedish Pagans? You gotta.
Should I spoil it? I mean, no, he doesn't hate to play it. I think with all that love we get from the audience, how can you hate something? Are there more fun songs to play? There are. Yes.
Yes.
So.
Is there anything you'd rather not play, but you gotta play it?
Not really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We are, but we do always struggle. It's we struggle with the set list of every tour. The more songs we write, the more albums we release, and since we are on this trip to where we basically every new album is just getting bigger than the previous one, and fans want to hear more and more new songs. A lot of bands that have been going around for a while. I mean, we are now 20-something years, and but a lot of fans tend to, they want to hear this a little bit older songs, and this doesn't really happen with us. It's more and more new, and that creates sometimes a little bit of an issue with the setlist selection. So because we do have some kind of, what do you call them, evergreens in the Sabaton catalog, and there are some that we don't really want to take out, but at the same time we try to push in as much new as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And your set list, I would imagine, is very different in Poland than it will be in the United States. And various
we switch
places
around a couple of songs here and there, and there's definitely on this tour that we're doing now, I think we're going to start with something, and I think we're going to end up with something else. We'll test it, we'll see how it works.
Yeah, excellent. Looking forward to it for sure. Have you ever thought of writing a book, like a fictional novel or a graphic novel? Because you're a storyteller,
I have read only one book the past 20 years, I think. And I don't really like books at all. And even though I'm slowly working on my own book, but a graphical novel, no. I don't have the energy to write it. Okay. Would I direct it on a movie? Yeah, script it in a movie form. Yes, maybe. Where you like going action to action to action to action. I think I would rather do that.
Okay, yeah, because you're a storyteller. We appreciate it. Per, it's so exciting to have you. So excited to see you. You're in Seattle tomorrow night at the Paramount Theater. You got tour dates from September 15th to October 23rd in North America. You got some December dates in Australia. You got April to May in Europe. You're just everywhere. And we appreciate it. We are so looking forward to it here in the United States, especially because we don't get stuff like you do. We don't get a lot of that, and it's so great to hear. We appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, and I think I think we're gonna have a great tour. I'm quite confident. Everybody's so excited to come here. Especially after our last American adventure, which unfortunately ended too early. So, but now we're back to do a proper run.
Yeah, and I got to witness that opening slot for Judas Priest here in Chicagoland, and it was just tremendous. One of the best opening bands I've ever seen by far. Just extraordinary. I can't wait to see the headlining show, the full set. It's going to be spectacular.
Yep.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Can't say anything else.
Yeah, I so appreciate your time. Have a great tour, and I'll see you out there.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.